Good morning, everybody. What's going on? It's Monday after a absolutely wild weekend. Thank you for tuning in. I have been advertising David Garcia coming on the show. He agreed to come on the show, and he has not arrived yet. That doesn't mean anything. It is only 6:05, so hopefully he'll pop in any minute. But yeah, while we wait for him, why don't we just kind of look in the chat here, say some good mornings, good afternoons, good evenings. GM is what they type, folks. You got to type GM. Yeah. Did everybody have a fantastic weekend? Coop is Magnum PI. Man, the amount of times I have played, I have a Tigers hat and a bunch of Hawaiian shirts, and I've had a mustache in the past. It's the easiest costume for me. Who else we got in here? Morning, good morning, not a llama. You're not a llama, but you kind of look like one. ReCoop intro, modernize Magnum PI theme song. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just notice there's no at the end anymore. I know that's only at the Algo rant, which we will be going back to doing on Wednesdays when the show doesn't become a weekly, all week Algo rant. Yeah, come on, guys. You're seeing it. Crypto for Change got the mic. Says Coop got the mic at the start. I got the mic. I know I kind of miss the too, by the way. I want to say, like, it was so much part of the show. Yeah, many times I have thought, should I just switch over to USDT? Did we ever think? I don't think, it wasn't on my radar to be like, ooh, I don't know how safe I am in USDC. I should move to USDT. But that's happening. There's been a lot of news. I didn't exactly, usually I have a bunch of links up here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So David Garcia is joining us right now. Let me just make sure he is ready for us. Yep, I think he is. Let me give him a second to adjust. Let's see here. Let's see how he's doing. I'll bring him in, and we're gonna get this show on the road. Got to say, so David Garcia is the CEO and a founding partner at Borderless Capital. Borderless Capital is integral to the Algorand ecosystem. It's been there from day one, and that's what we're doing. If you've been watching my show, you know why he wants to come on. I'm sure he wants to clear some things up, and I'm grateful to him for coming on. So let's bring him in. DG, how are you, sir?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yeah. I'm pretty good. Thank you for coming. I mean, I wish we were meeting on
Thank you for having me.
But let's clear. I think, this whole entire space is based on transparency. So I really appreciate you just being willing to come on and have this discussion with me.
No problem. But just for the records, I was waiting since 8:57 in my Chrome, in my MacBook. For some reason, the link was not allowing me to get into the app. So I decided to connect through the phone. So glad that the phone worked. So.
Oh, okay. So you weren't able to get in. I'm sorry about that. I don't know.
I sent you a direct message in Twitter, but anyway, so.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I should have checked. I checked right before I went live, but, well, okay. So, and you aren't the first person to have this struggle. I need to figure out what that is because this has happened before, with Stacy Warden at AlgoFest, in fact. Okay. All right. So I guess why don't we just start off with, we've obviously just been through a crazy weekend. I mean, not a lot of people anticipated USDC to depeg, and now we have it seems like all of these crypto banks are, any traditional bank that does business in crypto is being shut down by the US government or in some way. But I guess my question is, what do you make of that? And we're also coming off a crazy 2022. So what kind of condition would you say Borderless Capital is in after all these market downturns and all of these explosions? And what do you make of the current landscape, certainly in the US and crypto at large?
Yeah, so let me just first clarify something about Borderless. Fortunately, I'm glad to say that Borderless was not affected by any of these events. We were not banking with Silvergate Bank. We were not banking with Silicon Valley Bank. We were banking with Signature Bank, but we are in the process of moving the funds to our Citibank facility. So we also have accounts with private banking at Citibank. So our funds are safe.
Okay.
Our digital assets are safe. Also, just want to reiterate and clarify that we were not affected by the MyAlgo exploit. None of our assets and accounts were affected. Personally, I had an Algo Signer wallet that I created in 2019, I believe, or early 2020, that had 5 Algos. And I imported that wallet into MyAlgo on December, and it got hacked. But it was 5 Algos, so I can bear that loss. So
you're going to be able to that's
I'm going to be able to survive. Yeah. So yeah, but in general, I think that it seems something very coordinated, right? Or at least it creates that impression outside. All the on-ramp and off-ramp fiat banking platforms are kind of getting hit by regulatory actions, are getting in the lens of the regulators. So I don't know. What I can say is that definitely it's time to start rethinking about how you're managing your fiat if you're working in crypto. So and we are trying to have a more resilient infrastructure for managing our fiat. By the way, we manage very low fiat. We mostly use USDC on Algorand for everything, both participating in DeFi, making our investments, paying salaries actually. So we are a team of 21 people at Borderless, and everyone use USDC on Algorand. So
it wasn't the best weekend then with
it wasn't the best weekend. It wasn't the worst weekend. So
we found out pretty quickly that USDC was probably going to survive, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I regret not being able to potentially buy some USDC at 88 cents. So
I know, I'm really mad at myself too, actually. Yeah. All right. So for the reasons that we are here, I think let's just really just dive in. Recently, you or Borderless Capital, so whoever is in charge of it's probably it's you and your team, tweeted a recovery proposal for the people that have been affected by the MyAlgo hack.
So if you allow me, just want to give some context there.
Sure.
Because Twitter is not the best way to have like a very explanatory and expansion opportunities to communicate. So I want to use the opportunity in your show to also clarify some of the things there.
Okay, cool.
First of all, we know about hacks by firsthand. When we started Borderless Capital, formerly known as Algo Capital, we started in June 2019. We raised the funds mostly from existing Algorand investors, and we are one of the second largest investors in our first fund, which is the Algo Fund 1. But by September 2019, Korean hackers group, which is known as Lazarus Group, now we know that because the FBI was able to catch the guys of that hack. And actually, that is the same group and the same special agents that are working both in the Tiny Man hack and in the current MyAlgo exploit. So they are becoming like experts in Algorand.
Yeah.
So, but basically,
before you go on, I mean, I think that this is news to a lot of people right now. So, So what you're saying is that the FBI has identified the Lazarus Group, and are you speaking in that? Has that been,
we created. We published like 3 or 4 pages of statements about that, linking to the press release of the FBI. Happy to share that with you. That was in 2021. So after 2 years, they were able to got the guys, and actually they were able to seize 207 BTCs because it seems like the hacker converted all the algos first in Monero and then into BTC, and they were able to seize 207 BTCs. And at that time, BTC was $7,000. Right. So if for some reason we get a restitution from that, it can be a good business for us.
Well,
So, but
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, with that experience, and after we saw that the FBI 2 years ago got the hacker and got the funds, and we have been in touch through our attorneys with the DOJ department that is handling the case, with the restitution people that are working handling those funds that are in custody of the government. So far, zero success of getting $1 back, right? So, and it has been 4 years, and it can be another 4 years before we can see a single penny.
Right.
That's the first experience we had. Fortunately, we were able to cover the loss of the fund, because basically, if you see our report in that hack, we lost funds from our LPs, which are investors in the Algo Fund 1, and we lost our personal funds. And also Pablo, which was the CTO at that time, lost a lot of funds, lost BTCs, lost USDC, and lost Algo. So Pablo at that time, just to give some contents, I'm not going to talk about the lawsuit because the lawsuit is being handled by our lawyers, and I am prohibited to talk about the lawsuit. And just to give it some context, it was initially partially dismissed by the court, and we hope that it will get fully dismissed as soon as the procedure is done. And our lawyers are taking care of that. But Pablo was hired as our CTO in Algo Capital at that time. He was using a phone with Microsoft OneNote, which is a software like similar to Notion or to Keep, using full encryption side to side, and he was having a backup of the seed recovery of some of our wallets. He decided to decrypt that file in the cloud. It seems like his account was compromised, and this North Korean hacker group was able to take a print screenshot of that recovery seed, and 1 hour after, funds went to Binance. They were liquidated, converted into Bitcoin. So Pablo decided to resign as a CTO in Borderless Capital. We communicate that to all of our LPs, to our fund administrator, to our auditors. And he decided to...
Was that, I'm sorry, was that in, what year was that happened, that he resigned?
2019, September 2019. And all of this is fully documented. It's, a lot of articles that we posted about statements also from Pablo about this investigation from CoinDesk. So we got really good friends at the time, because a lot of security companies were able to help us and also reinforce the Borderless Capital security infrastructure. And we also pay auditors to do a security assessment with our current infrastructure that we have right now. So that was our first connection with hack. I never was hacked before in crypto, and I have been working in crypto since 2013. So that was my first experience. Not an easy one. But we covered everything with our own pocket, and also Pablo put significant money from his own pocket to cover a portion of what the LPs lost. And, with the funds that we lost personally, we bear the loss, and we move on, right? So that was the first time. Then the second time, on December 2021, I went for vacations to Mexico with my wife and my family, and I was celebrating New Year Eve. And on January 1st, I started to get messages from people from TinyMan, people from Optio Capital, people from IgoMint, because we are investors in all of those platforms. Just for people to know, 100% of the current active popular DeFi applications in Algorand were invested by Borderless, and Borderless is basically the first check-in and the largest check-in in most of them. Yeah. So these people were telling me, hey, it seems like some pools of TinyMan got hacked. It seems like it happened only with assets that have like a long decimals, and I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I was walking in the shopping in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and then I left my wife, my kids, my family there, and I ran into the room, and when I checked with my ledger, the pools that I was providing liquidity, everything was removed. And out of the $2.2 million that were lost there, I think that I lost close to $2 million. So I am the largest affected victim in that hack. And I went out and I talked with my FBI friends that helped me in the IGO Capital hack. And they started the case, they started the investigation, they connected with GoMin, they connected with TinyMan. TinyMan also took the bold decision of compensating all the victims with their own funds and their own treasury. And I told them, you will not be able to compensate me because if not, you're going to run out of money. So you should go and compensate all the small users. For us, it's much important that you protect your community. And that was always our approach with the hack of Borderless Capital Fund and also with the TinyMan hack where I was the main affected victim. So they did it. Unfortunately, also, the FBI also catch the guy of the TinyMan hack, and they were able to seize a portion of the assets, not all the assets, because some of them were converted and they were completely lost. But they got a significant portion of the assets, and those are still in custody of the federal government. And again, I didn't receive the same letter that I received when we got hacked in IGO Capital that we can start a restitution process. I expect that I'm going to receive that probably at the middle of this year or later this year. And then from there, we should count another 3 to 4 years from that time until I can get something. So coming back to the MyAlgo exploit, we always have been advising our portfolio companies and our partners to properly manage digital assets. Even not keeping assets in that you are not looking to trade in centralized exchanges or in DeFi. And that's one of the reasons why several of the investments that we have done in Borderless Capital were towards infrastructure and security. We are one of the lead investors in Credo and in Hextros and other platforms. We are now investing in another company that is creating kind of an operating system for custodians, wallet, and exchanges. It's called MPCH, and it's basically a core primitive that will allow all the wallets, like MyAlgo, like Pera Wallet, like the wallets from exchanges, to start using MPC core technology for managing the keys. So we think that it's super important that we use the highest level enterprise security available for managing digital assets. We learned it through a very expensive lesson in 2019, right? So our advice was always, guys, you should go and use a proper custodian that can know also.
I'm going to interrupt you just for 1 second, just because your sound is a little, bro. Is there any, I don't know if there's any adjustment you can make on your end, just because there's a lot of interference on the sound. I'm not sure if the audience is hearing that as well, but.
No worries.
Let's just so
cancellation expression. Let me do something. Let me try to connect the Google.
As you got closer, it got worse. So maybe.
Let me check. Maybe here is better. Can you hear me now?
I can. It's still there. The interference. Maybe it's because your phone is right by a computer or like something that might be causing interference.
Exactly. You are the so I can try.
We got. Okay. Well, I mean, we could hear you. So if it's the same, it's going to be okay.
Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm not connected, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's still static, but we won't dwell on it. I don't think. Okay. Let's see. When you get. Yeah, it's getting. I probably shouldn't have done anything because it seems like it's gotten a little worse. What's Daisy saying? Boom. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
So MyAlgo hack, right? So we were advising our companies to use proper custody. The reason why we suggest a custodian versus use your own ledger and multi-sig is because you
Okay, actually now we're losing your sound. Now it's a little bit worse. I'm so sorry about this. Let's see. Maybe this Wilder is suggesting you put it you turn your phone like this because maybe the microphone is at the bottom. Now that is a little better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Do you want me to try
Get a nice
to connect from the computer? Do you want me to try to connect from the computer?
Yeah, you can stay with me and try to
Okay.
connect to the computer again, and then I can put this one off and then put the other one just to make it.
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, so Daisy is saying.
Here we go.
Oh, are you in? You getting in? Oh, there it is. Yes. Here we go. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is like now you did
Don't make me repeat myself, please.
I won't. No, we're good. So Daisy, if you do, is saying in the chat that he found the FBI docs about Lazarus and the Algorand hack. Okay. Anyways, okay. All right. So you were just getting. So where we were was you talking about how you always advise your portfolio companies to do
Correct.
proper security and everything with their
Yeah,
funds.
and I think that it's important, to invest in developing your own kind of security procedures to manage digital assets. But I definitely think that using a third-party professional firm that is a custodian that can help you to develop that can put, the treasury policies on your funds, and can also have your funds fully insured, which is one of the features that most of the proper custodians, like the ones that I mentioned that are part of the Borderless portfolio, are offering. I think that that's the best scenario. And we are operating like that after we got hacked. And that was also the recommendations from the security experts that advised us at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to the impact of MyAlgo exploit into Borderless Capital, zero, nada. We were not affected. That's not actually true. We had a all hot wallet that we were using to provide a small liquidity for some of our assets, and we lost 6,000 algos.
Okay.
And we disclosed that with our LPs, with auditors. We are a regulated fund, so every penny that goes in and out in our family of funds needs to be properly disclosed with our LPs and actually validated by the financial auditors. So from our portfolio, there was 3 companies affected, and they are publicly known. One is Yroom, which is the decentralized internet platform.
Mm-hmm.
We are the lead investor in that company, and also from our fund that invests in the same category that Yroom operates, which is called HFI or DPIN or Proof of Physical Work, depending on how you want to use it. Also invested in that company. Guard, which we are one of the lead investors along with other VCs in the ecosystem, and it's one of the DeFi platforms that is allowing to use your algo committed governance to borrow a stable coin called Guard, and Prismatic, which is building like a full stack for managing treasuries of the DAOs and DAO governance and connecting the governance with the treasury management in a trustless way using on-chain primitives.
Right.
So these 3 companies, some of them lost a lot of money. That means there are people behind that, employees, not only the founders. And we really believe in what these companies are building. So we, as one of the major investors in the ecosystem, decided that we are going to help these companies through this difficult situation that they are going through, and we just provide on Friday. No, I think that was Thursday. We just provided a term sheet to them of how we can help them with new financing from Borderless Capital, and also providing a term sheet so some other investors can join us, right? So that's kind of the whole connection between MyAlgo exploit and Borderless. There is nothing more there than these 3 companies. And just to put in perspective, From the Algo Fund 1, that is the lead investor in these three companies, we invested in 160 companies. So, and the money that we invested in these three companies represents less than 3.5% of our current assets under management for that fund, right?
Got it.
So, in the worst case scenario, that even with additional funding that Borderless is providing, these companies are not able to make it, which we don't think so, because we are very bullish on what these companies are building. The material impact to Borderless will be negligible. So I just want to clarify that, right? Then a lot of speculation about Borderless, my connection with Pablo, MyAlgo, etc. So yes, we worked with Pablo in the past. He was our CTO. And as I mentioned, he voluntarily resigned to that position. After that, the only relationship that we have with Pablo, it is being a user of MyAlgo, which now we are not, of course. But Borderless Capital has zero interest in Run Labs, never invested in Run Labs, never invested in MyAlgo, never invested in Algo Explorer. Personally, I didn't invest in Run Labs, in MyAlgo, in Algo Explorer. I have zero ownership in the company. My partner Arul also has zero ownership in the company. We love those guys because they took a bold step and started building very needed infrastructure in the ecosystem when nobody was doing it back in 2019 and 2020. And we wish they can come kind of out of this in a good way. And I think that they really have good intentions building this platform that they were not monetizing. They were public goods for the ecosystem. It's unfortunate that this happened, and our heart goes with all the people that were affected by this hack. And the intention of building a recovery fund, and we can talk about the entire rationale behind that. It's not only about the MyAlgo victims that are going right now through this process, right? Which, if we see the amount of monthly active users in Algorand, 70 to 80% of people were using MyAlgo wallets. And a huge portion of that were using mnemonic wallets, right? So there was an implicit trust from all the ecosystem, from all the players, from all the DeFi apps, to just promote the use of MyAlgo. So we think that is kind of a systemic issue for the Algorand ecosystem. That's our belief.
Got it.
In the same way that, there are community resources being allocated to liquidity rewards, to governance rewards, AINEAs, the governance rewards. There was also 5 months ago in the Cypher, there was announced the 1 billion Algorand Venture Fund, also funded from the foundation, to continue to grow the ecosystem. And we really support that. More capital in the ecosystem means a bigger ecosystem. But also we think that it's important that we can protect the ecosystem, not only grow the ecosystem. And that was the intention and the spirit behind our suggestion to go through governance and create a recovery fund of 50 million algos. That doesn't mean the Algorand Foundation has to put the 50 million algos. As you are seeing between lines, we are saying that we are putting 2.5 million algos based on what the community believes that the initial size of the recovery fund should be. It could be 5 million algos, right? And we can put half of that. We are trying to inspire other participants in the ecosystems, including the DeFi apps, including other Algorand ecosystem investors like Highmind, like Big Brain, like Arrington Algorand Ecosystem Fund, to just contribute to this. So the intention for that is create a pool that comes from resources of major players and champions in the ecosystem, maybe led by the foundation because they have the biggest treasury. And I think that they can do a lot of efforts to protect the ecosystem because the ecosystem is super small. And if we lose these 2,000, 3,000 users that got affected, I think that we are not going to be in position number 40. I think that we're going to be in position number 70. And now is the time to act. Sky Bridge, what I am seeing here, someone put Sky Bridge. So yeah, we will invite everyone, right? So it's not exclusive to the foundation and to Borderless or even to investors. So that was the whole spirit behind this. If the community think that is the wrong move and there is not a governance proposal, that's okay. We are going to continue to try to help to build the community and build the ecosystem. And I know that we are paying the price for being a little bit activisms on with this proposal. We just can just say nothing, but we felt the moral obligation to say it, and
So
we don't have any fiduciary responsibility with the community, only with our LPs, and we did it
So-
because we care about the community.
sounds good. So okay, I just a couple of points I want to make. So did you a while back did you say that it's been confirmed that the Lazarus Group is behind the MyAlgo hack currently? Because
No.
Oh.
I don't think that the FBI identified
Okay.
the responsible party yet.
Yeah.
I think that right now they are going through the forensic process with Halborn and chain analysis. Hopefully we can get some clarity of what's going on there, and
Yeah.
hopefully, if there is any particularly library or piece of software that is from third parties, I think that also the guys at Pera Wallet provided some comparison between the software that they were using and Pera was using. So I think that maybe there is a clue surrounding that it was a third-party library that was used. But hopefully we can provide, the security experts can provide some clarity to the community and to the industry, because I'm pretty sure that probably there are other people using this technology in their applications.
So, I mean, and I do have to maybe push back a little bit on the Rand Labs affiliation, because according to, and correct me if this is wrong, but according to Open Corporates, in the end of 2019, and as of, I guess, February 2020, you're listed as a director of Rand Labs alongside Pablo
yeah.
Yabo.
Yeah, that's correct. And I am, if you go through the lawsuit, you're going to see my affidavits also.
Mm-hmm.
Pablo and Michelle are friends, and they initially worked with us in Algo Capital, and as a favor, because at that time they didn't have a third person to trust,
Mm-hmm.
I was basically proposed to be one of the 3 directors that the Panama law requires to incorporate the company. I gave my name to that.
Got it.
Since there, I signed 0 documents on behalf of Rand Labs Inc.
Okay.
And I'm not an active director anymore. So
okay, and then just
for the formation of the company, and that is also disclosed in several of the documents. If you go to the 223 docket documents that are there, you're gonna see it. So
got it. And I appreciate you answering these questions, by the way. And
yeah,
then
and I have to be careful, because if not, my lawyer is gonna kill me. But
of course, I understand that, and I'm certainly not going to ask you about Coin Fabric or anything like that. I know that that's playing out.
Okay, and I hope these guys can peacefully resolve their issues, because this started actually in Argentina. If you go through the docket, you're gonna see that they started a litigation process between them in Argentina. This it's from my lawyer's perspective and from my perspective, and the court will decide. But this is a problem between them, and I got involved because there was the only way that they can bring a litigation into US, right? And because there are some pieces of connection there that allow them to bring that narrative into this soil, basically.
Right. And I don't know how closely you've been watching the show, but I definitely made the point that you believe that this is an internal corporate conflict and that you shouldn't be involved.
Yeah, fully agree.
And then
no Borderless got also involved, because in the beginning, when was dismissed, the judge gave them the opportunity to go and amend the complaint, and they basically changed the narrative and started with different complaints just to continue the process to going on. But I will let that to the lawyers and to the judge to decide. So
okay, and then just one more question,
and it's going the right way. So
just one more question: what is DGPY Group Corp? That was also incorporated, I think, in 2020, and it has you as the president, alongside DG Ventures and Pablo Yabo as a director, and has several other roles. What's the role?
Yeah, that's a corporation associated to my first fund. Mm-hmm. That is the one that invested $6.5 million in the Series A of Algorand LLC, where neither Coin Fabric, Borderless Capital, or us are investors and institutional investors behind that vehicle. And basically, that's one of the corporations associated to Algorand Group.
Okay. So, I mean, that is, just that your long history. And, obviously as somebody, just a guy on YouTube looking on things on the internet, like
I
I can't
completely
obviously get the full picture of things, but
Cooper,
when
I understand. That's what I wasn't attacking you. In Twitter, I was saying, hey,
very,
you probably are trying to do the right thing for the ecosystem. This whole hack, the recovery fund. I
yeah,
know that you can connect those points. I try to to believe that something is involved. But look, again, if I can come back and remove the Twitter post about the recovery fund, I will do it. I don't want to do it because I think that is the right thing to do.
right.
And I believe that we as a community should use the resources of the community to protect our community. We don't want more users leaving Algorand, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is one of the best ways to protect that.
So, okay, my well, just to kind of put a
Good sounds.
button.
I just read the comments
I
of
know.
the.
Don't read them. I'll read. Let me
Oh, it's
read that. Let
okay.
me
It's
read
okay.
them, and I'll filter through them. But so
This dude sounds like a scammer and he's perfect. Okay.
now you're reading. I
I
wasn't
never
going to read
seek
that.
investment
I wasn't going
advice
to read
in
that
the
one.
US. No worries. But yeah, I'm not a scammer. But yeah.
Okay. And so I just want to, just with the recovery fund, I think one of the things that alarmed me and then alarmed probably a lot of other people is the urgency before we even know,
that,
what
that, that
what the
comes
issue.
also with the history of the hacks that we have seen, right? So because people are saying, hey, KuCoin frozen funds, hey, Binance frozen funds, hey, Change Now's shows frozen funds. But in our experience, those funds will be part of the chain of custody that the FBI will seize. Those funds will remain in government control for a significant amount of time.
Mhm.
And these people that got affected, even families, workers, people with all their savings, they are not going to get a restitution in before the end of 2023. So our urgency was, let's show a leadership as a community, let's create a fund, and then we can work together along with other partners to have an orderly distribution of that funds. For example, definitely the smaller accounts should be the first priority. And if I go and see the account that I got hacked, my account that got hacked for MyAlgos, there is a wallet that starts with HAKA, Haka.
Mhm.
Uh, that the hacker was very funny about using that initial letters for his wallet. But there
Yeah.
are like 2,000 accounts that got hacked by that wallet, right? And there is clearly an identification of legit victims that we can go and prioritize. And even what we can do once we create the fund, we can go and start compensating those people that are really clear that they are victims, right? Then for the rest, we can work with the forensic tools, we can work with other people and start in batches compensating people. And the idea of the fund was not purposely built just for the MyAlgo exploit. You know, right now it's MyAlgo. Tomorrow can be Pera Wallet. In 3 months can be AlgoFi. I don't know. But it's good that we have some resources to protect the community.
Got it. I mean, I think a lot of us are kind of like, okay, well, okay, but do we really need this forced into the vote right now that's ending in a couple of days? I mean, I understand the idea that, yes, this can take 4, 5, 6, 7 years, but it does seem to me rushing it and not just coming up with a great plan that we can all kind of vote on in time. There's, the quarter is only 3 months long. So it wouldn't be that long for us to really formulate a plan and get a true, not emotional kind of rushed vote on it.
Yeah. I respectfully disagree with that. And I think that having the fund will give some assurance to these people to not leave the community and have some hope, something that they don't have right now. And
Mhm.
that, if we vote in during this quarter, next quarter we can start working on the procedures that it will require to launch the fund, to define the size of the fund, how we are going to start with the distribution, who are going to be the partners, because definitely the people that are going to be receiving this distribution probably will have to go through KYC and AML, and we need to hire a third-party partner, for example, like Republic or CoinList, to do the distribution. So there is a lot of things that need to happen in order for this to, be distributing a single micro algo to one of the victims. But I think that the time to act and define the position that we as a community are taking is now. If we do that next quarter, we are just moving all of those decisions and all those details and structured discussion to the next quarter. And maybe we're going to be compensating the victims by Q4 this year if we move at the speed that we are moving with the governance process right now. And if that happens, I am pretty sure that those users will not algo-run users anymore, and is what we want to avoid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still I don't really agree with rushing it before we know what the source of it is. But I mean, look, that's the whole point of decentralized governance, is that we can all disagree and then come around and unfortunately for me, I have a feeling that you have a little more voting power, DG.
So. We have a little bit more voting power. Yes, I agree. Yeah. But I think that in a decision like that, we might abstain. So the community can decide. Okay. And again, we are gaining nothing with this fund. So there is not a single algo going to Borderless Capital. Not to me. I actually am not going to claim the 5 algos that I lost. This is for the community with the intention of protecting the community. And because clearly we didn't see any leadership coming up and proposing something like this, we thought that, we should come and be bold in our position. And we stand for what we live. So
got it. I got it. And I appreciate at least that you had suggested a vote. There was other proposals, or there was other suggestions that they just unilaterally do it. And to me, that seems and that would be a bad look for Algorand in general. So I know that we're winding down, and thank you for staying a little extra. I know you had a half hour.
Sorry, one more point. I saw a lot of comments in your tweet about our website.
Thank you.
If people want to compare, maybe you want to go and see Polychain website, which it's even worse than us, and they are very successful VC in crypto. But without criticizing those comments, I will say that we have been working for the last 3 to 4 months with 2 communication agencies to come with a very compelling website, and we hope that the community will like it when it's done.
Awesome. And let me just, I know that can I ask you just a few of these questions? I have not read these before, so I'm just going to say these out loud, and we'll let you respond. Did DG distribute the funds to Rand Labs to build MyAlgo, Algo Explorer in the first place? We understand there is 0. So that initial Algorand fund didn't fund MyAlgo? Nothing. So where did they get funds to build all that?
Algorand Foundation. They got grants from the Algorand Foundation.
Got it. So we understand,
and that is disclosed by the Algorand Foundation, actually. So
got it. Okay, great. This that's, you already read that one. So average Zen third-party exploit, let third parties handle the recovery. There is no need to get governance involved, is his suggestion. Daisy is talking about how we found out that it was North Korea who hacked Algo Capital and maybe Tiny Man. What I want to know...
sorry, just to clarify, we didn't get a formal answer from the FBI who hacked Tiny Man. We know that they got the guy and they got the assets. I am formally communicated from the FBI about that, but they didn't share more details, right?
Got it.
But when they got the assets from Algo Capital, they clearly communicate that was Lazarus Group, and there was a press release, and we added that to a Medium post statement. Obviously super happy because also both our name and Pablo name got cleared in the hack. Everyone was thinking that it was an auto theft, and we were kind of getting an advantage of the algo price at 10 cents. But thanks to the great work of the FBI and the DOJ department, that was clear. So he didn't get the attention that the hack got.
Okay.
At least clarify. Yeah.
And then Uncle Sam wanted to know if you took advantage of that DPEG on USDC, and he actually started today bemoaning the fact that we commiserated that we both did it.
I wish did. But if you want to sell me some USDC at 88 cents, I will take it. Yeah, I think that Nimble is, by the way, I think that Nimble is doing, sorry, I am reading your comments. I think that Nimble has done an amazing job leading the community on understanding the facts and collaborating with the agencies. And actually, I'm talking with Adam very soon because they are supportive of creating a recovery fund, and maybe they are the ones that can manage that. So we are completely open to partner with all the people in the ecosystem.
Okay. Is there a possibility? is there a possibility that MyAlgo offers a reward to hackers in exchange to return the funds to all users?
I am not sure. You should ask them.
Okay. and then Moriarty makes a comment that this seems like a way to take pressure off Rand Labs and put it on the foundation.
I think that is a pressure for all the participants in the ecosystem that can contribute to a recovery fund. As we stated in the tweet, we are inviting other investors and other champions in the ecosystem to step in. But definitely the Algorand Foundation is managing the community treasury, and we think that they should also show support and lead the way in terms of providing the reassurance that this is official. It is not just third parties trying to coordinate something between them.
Okay.
Is Borderless hiding? Yes, we are hiding.
Hiding? What does that mean?
Hiring.
Oh, hiring. I was like, hiding. You're not hiding. You're right here.
No, hiring.
Hey, DG, we're doing a research project with our Flemish government about anomaly detection on Algorand transactions. We'd love to have a conversation. So, okay, Holler would like to talk to you. He's a Flemish.
No problem. I'm not a security expert, but happy to spend some minutes with him. So.
All right, hit the button. Okay, people are, these guys are great. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support. Christian from NIFGen has some words of support. Regardless of what the ecosystem thinks about the recovery fund, I think that we can say thank you to DG and Borderless for taking the initiative. Not everyone would have done it. So,
and we are paying the price now.
Yeah, it's not all bad, DG. It's not all bad. Okay. Some people are concerned about AlgoFi, relatable. Let's see if there's anything else. There's Chris Swenner's in the building. Hello, Chris. What's this? Okay, so not Tiny Man, just the Algo Capital. Okay. Nimble's in talks with several.
I will suggest another thing. I'll tell you if you allow me to chime in with why we changed the name Algo Capital to Borderless Capital. Also, it wasn't fully our decision. It was more a request from both the Inc. and the foundation, because they want to have Algo associated with a VC that was investing in the ecosystem. And we thought, okay, and I think that this is a great idea, because also what we are doing is not just about Algo, right? We are investing in a lot of assets that are using Algorand, but are competing with Algo for liquidity, for community. How we can denominate all of that? Well, Algorand is calling that the borderless economy, or at that time they were calling it the borderless economy. So what better name than Borderless Capital powering the borderless economy? So
absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important for everybody to know the differences between something like the Algorand Foundation, Algorand Inc., and something that used to be called Algo Capital. They're all separate and not coordinated.
Your viewers are so funny.
Okay. They are very funny, by the way.
Yeah.
Agash is saying DG is showing he's a true leader of the ecosystem. Thanks, DG. Thanks for coming on the ReCoop. Clinton Foundation is certainly borderless. There you go. Is that what you were laughing at? And I definitely have a better opinion of David.
But anyway, I have a lot of fun, Cooper, in your show. I'm happy to come back at any time. Maybe we can do this in another show and invite other leaders in the ecosystem to see what they think about our recovery fund, how they want to contribute. Definitely the donations that you were mentioning through your collection, that will be a great step to contribute to a recovery fund. So this should be kind of a community effort. And I believe that the treasury of the foundation is part of the community resources. That's what I am kind of leading towards, having the foundation contribute to this community effort. If we can have a 1 billion Algorand venture fund growing the ecosystem, I think that we can have 5% of that used to protect the ecosystem, or even lower. I don't think that we will need 50 millions coming from the foundation. The rest, definitely we can get others to contribute. So,
all right. Well, again, I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you so much. I would love to host that conversation about the recovery fund with other leaders, and we can do this in a way where we truly are just willing to disagree and come to a conclusion that works the most for everybody. So I really appreciate it, David. Thank you so much.
That's crypto. Thank you, Cooper, for having me.
Exactly. Cool. All right.
See you. Bye.
Right. Thank you. Well, there we go, guys. What do you think? All right. So there was a lot of an NFT rug. Jersey wants an NFT rug fund as well. Thank you, DG. Thank you, DG. Very interesting. So good morning. I'm IRL. Good morning, IRL. Thanks for answering the question. Let's get Pablo next. Now that absolutely is, I'm 100% willing to have Pablo Yabo on this show. I would love to have him on. I will say, look, folks, he answered every question. He, when I confronted him about being a director on Rand Labs and then having this DGPY, the David Garcia, Pablo Yabo, he seemed to have answers for that. But I think it's very clear that there is a very strong link between David Garcia and Pablo Yabo, the CEO of Rand Labs. So I have to say that I maintain my opinion that there is too much of a conflict of interest, and we don't know all the details. We just don't know all the details. Pablo Yabo Pablo Yabo left Borderless Capital, formerly known as MyAlgo Capital, in 2019. And then when Rand Labs Incorporated, David Garcia was a director. And after that, they created their own group called the DGPY. And this is after Pablo Yabo left Borderless Capital. And that's the David Garcia Pablo Yabo Group Corporation, which he said was distributing the funds. So I don't know. I still have a lot of questions, but I have to say it was a very pleasant conversation, very nice man, and or a very personable man. I mean, he seems very nice too, but I can't talk to that. Now I'm just talking. See, this is the problem with my show, is sometimes I just keep talking. All right, so here we go. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about? I mean, what else is happening in the world? Wouldn't it be good if I talked about that? The Algorand Foundation, let's just do average Zen real quick. I'm going to go through this, and then maybe we'll go check out CNBC and see. I remember yesterday, futures were skyrocketing. Are we still having a booming stock market with our banking industry collapsing? But anyways, and then we also have that thing that CZ from Binance. So I do want to kind of look at that. We only have a few minutes though. The Algorand Foundation needs to have this spigot turned down, not up, until XGov is implemented and the community has more control over the direction of our funds, of the funds. Average Zen, you speak my language, my friend. That's exactly what I think. I want XGov now. I want further decentralization now. That's what we need, I think. I don't think we need to rush into this. I do. Look, Wayru, Guard, and Prismatic, and then all of the other users that have been affected, but obviously Wayru, Guard, and Prismatic were largely affected in size. You know what I mean? But I just think that we can wait. I think we can wait until the next quarter, and really, with the help of the foundation, I've not noticed the foundation retweet any of these proposals, and they haven't chimed in on this. They also have not reached out to me in any way. I think that they're like, oh my God, what the hell is this guy doing? And I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm looking for transparency in a what's supposed to be a transparent world. And it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of transparency right now, folks. But yeah, so yes, I agree with you, Zen. Yeah, Moriarty says, now we can all go back to blaming Stacy for everything that goes wrong. I'm sure she's excited about that. Are there ReCoop iron-ons available? See, this is what we got. This is the stuff, right? Crypto for Change is pointing out that we have a lot more viewers than we have likes on my YouTube. Now, I understand that a lot of you are watching on Twitter. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're not alone. There's other platforms watching this. Smash that like button. I really I'm uncomfortable saying that. It would most likely be Michelle, not Pablo, though. About what? Oh, about coming on the show. I've definitely met Michelle. Michelle's been on the show. Very, very, very nice guy, and very smart guy. And I feel for those guys. They were going to market with C3 protocol, which was a very exciting protocol. And you've heard me, we've been talking about this dang thing for about 3 weeks. You know how I feel about that. And you know that I've been on a bit of a roller coaster trying to figure this out. I feel like we're finally getting here. But at this point, we still don't even know what the hack was, like, or how it happened and who it is, right? But most importantly, because a lot of times you don't know who the hacker is, obviously, but we don't know how it happened. So I'm unequivocally against rushing anything until we know how it happened. Because a lot of times, look, I'm not saying it's an inside job or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But I mean, come on, any murder investigation, the people that they look at first are the people that were involved. So we got to make sure that we're not sending all of our governance funds to people that could potentially be responsible for it. I'm not making any accusations. I'm not saying that that's happening. I'm just saying it hasn't been ruled out definitively. So why would we proceed to rush to distribute funds before we know that everybody is who are truly victims and not? And that doesn't mean that it has to be an inside job from the names that we keep on discussing. There's contractors. There could be just a lot of different things that could happen, or it could just be a completely unrelated person that's in the community that is affected. We just don't know. And I don't like that because there is so much damn uncertainty in this entire space and world, frankly, that I would like to be more certain about what the cause of this was before we sort of rush into distributing the Algorand Foundation Treasury funds, which we are as a community working so hard to get more and more say in how it's distributed, because decentralized governance is the future of these types of layer ones for sure. So we can continue to exist and still have on ramps and off ramps in the highly regulated zones. Okay. Did I miss any donations today? Chris Wenner kindly pointed out to me yesterday. He's like, hey, you know what you should probably do is when somebody donates and it shows up in the chat, you should say thank you. I was like, I didn't even see that. Yesterday was banks imploding. Yeah. Isn't this fun, guys? I saw First Republic was down like 70% or something this morning. Eat the rich. No bailouts. Oh, man, it's so great. Who are the largest investors for those projects at the ReCoop? Well, Wayru, Guard, and Prismatic isn't. I think Borderless is the lead on all three of those. V-necks and zip-ups. Merch for moms matter. That's right. That's true. It'll have to be a very limited. I've looked at my analytics IRL, and my mom viewership is low. But I mean, I don't understand. Come on, I talk to a mom every day. She doesn't. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't actually like me either. So no wonder I don't have a lot of moms. Anyways, that's fun, guys. That's fun. That's a fun comment. Is it out of the money long call option season? I think ultimately we all want more transparency and no more of the old business. Moriarty, isn't this what we want? Because look, I'm a little, we're in a bear market, so we're all a bit emotional. But I definitely came into this. I didn't come into this from speculation. I came into this because of the principles of the thing, and those principles get tested every once in a while. All banks are down because the FDIC said they have $620 billion in unrealized losses. Not a mystery why the stock market is responding. Boy, oh boy. Okay, let's actually, you guys are giving me some good. Still likely Coop is a hacker and this is all a smokescreen. You know what, folks? Every once in a while, what did they keep on saying? The simple answer is often the most likely answer is the simple answer. Ricky Bobby has an opinion. He says that Pablo is responsible, not only the cause, but we need a full timeline and to know all repercussions from the event. 100%. Still waiting for the floor. Well, I don't know, Crypto for Change. If you saw, he's saying still waiting for the floor to collapse under crypto. Well, CZ from Binance, I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He has a $1 billion, I forget what he calls it. We can look. Why don't we do that real quick? I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes today and just kind of look through some stuff. And we'll go to CoinDesk first. Yeah, Bitcoin is pumping, which Bitcoin was created out of the the 2008 crisis. So, look, folks. But the real reason it is pumping, let's not get it twisted. All right. Binance will convert 1 billion worth of BUSD stablecoin to Bitcoin, Ether, BNB, and other tokens. A billion. A BUSD stablecoin. Now, we all know the BUSD stablecoin is under attack right now. So, let's not get too overwhelmed with the the whatever, man, the words. I need to do better with words in the morning. But the courtesy or the selflessness of this move. Basically, some might say, oh, so he's taking his fake stablecoin and putting it into $1 billion of actual assets. But that would be a mean person that only looks at the bad side of things. But crypto exchange Binance said it will convert 1 billion worth of Binance to USD to Bitcoin, Ether, BNB, and other tokens. The transactions from Binance's industry fund to BUSD took 5 seconds and cost merely $1.29, says CZ. The move likely contributed to the buying pressure, and we're obviously seeing a lot of that buying pressure right now. Because honestly, folks, let's be honest, they are working overtime to destroy these on-ramps and off-ramps to fiat. So that's not bullish. Now, CZ, $1 billion is a lot of money, and he can do some good for the prices, but we'll see. I mean, crypto's doing good, but it has a lot to do with this 1 billion. We'll see, guys. Oh my God, what a mess. Let's go over here to we'll go to CNBC real fast just to kind of see what's happening. All right, the Dow, well, you guys are making it from what you guys were saying, it's not good. It was really pumping, but still the Dow's up 100 points. The NASDAQ sideways, the S&P is a little down. But it was aggressively pumping. So that would be First Republic dropped 60%, leads decline in bank stocks despite government's backstop. 2-year Treasury yield posts biggest 3-day decline since aftermath of 1987 stock crash. Oh, man. Isn't that what they need? Don't they need these to the yield to crash? Yeah, the 10-year last week we were talking about the 10-year being over 4. We can look at this other popular website. Okay, First Republic sinks by a record 67% amid visceral fear. Treasuries surge as traders recalibrate rate bets. No more Fed rate hikes. Traders bet on easier policy as yields plunge. With Signature Bank's collapse, U.S. reformer Barney Frank, formerly of Frank Dodd, they did that whole regulation thing, watches his own lender fail. Interesting. I read another article yesterday where Barney Frank was trying to, put this on crypto. It's the only thing that's different, as he says. But folks, this is fractionalized banks, right? Not having the money. But it's hard to ignore the fact that, Silicon Valley Bank had its largest depositor by a long shot was Circle at $3.3 billion. And then underneath that was a lot of millions. But, thankfully, I guess Circle is going to be able to get that money. They're saying it's not a bailout, but they really, the Democrats really need it not to be a bailout because that's, not going to play well. They're going to use that against them. It's all politics, folks. I'm not going to dive into that. Fed's new backstop shields banks from $300 billion of losses. All right. Well, I mean, this is all the same stuff. We know about all this stuff already. Or I do at least. Let's just look at one more. We'll just look at one more crypto site just to see if there's anything interesting. A lot of times this one will have, wow, Bitcoin just jumped over 23,000. So this is what they're doing. They're going to get this going. We'll see how that plays out. I wouldn't be buying this rip, guys, because there is one thing responsible for it. And it's this: Binance converting 1 billion in BUSD to Bitcoin, Ether, and BNB. Now, that's not financial advice at all, because I have no idea. But I will say that this pump sure seems like that. With all that is happening in the US and cryptocurrency, it does not seem likely that this is sustainable. But, look, like I said, Bitcoin was created for these moments. Then Litecoin came through and said, okay, we think we can do it a little better. But people are like, no, we want to stick with Bitcoin. But then other people are like, no, we like Litecoin. Anyways, what am I doing? Gemini had no customer funds, GUSD at Signature Bank. So the good news for all these crypto banks that got shut down by the FDIC is that they're honoring withdrawals. So everybody's going to get their money back. So on that end, that's a good thing. All right. Well, 120,000 Ether stolen. OKCoin pauses. Dollar deposits. OT services after managing Silvergate situation. Is this fun? Watching me read this ticker as it slowly reveals itself. For the love of God, what am I doing? All right. Hey guys, thank you so much. Are there still people here? Okay, I've lost a few. Okay. Well, is there any other questions? I don't hear anybody creeping up on me, so I could answer some questions or some comments if you have them. I have plenty of algos. Chris, you can send them to me at Chris, you can send them to me at ReCoop.algo, at coindrive.recoup.algo. There's plenty of avenues for you to distribute your algos to me if you'd like. I know you're building lots of things. Wish I could say the name. I'm a small fish in a large pond. There's eyes. What are all these eyes? Dustin is not messing around. Yeah, buddy. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. He says, great job, Copper. Let's look. The Seifu Fund. The FOR Fund or whatever. Don't listen to the FUD, folks. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there we go. Let's talk about something positive. Roald Dahl's fundraiser auction is about to start on EXA Market in about 2 hours. Some awesome one-of-one pieces. All funds go to the Marvelous Children's Charity. So definitely check out EXA Marketplace if you're an Algorand NFT collector or if you aspire to be an Algorand NFT collector. I know there's a lot of aspirants out there. But yeah, that's a wonderful thing to support. Dead cat bounce. I think this is a CZ bounce. It's okay though. But Crypto for Change is betting dead cat bounce. I mean, at this point, it's you FOMO right now would be a weird thing to do. But at the same time, you have to remember that Bitcoin does wild things. And as liquidity gets choked out of it, that doesn't just mean that Bitcoin goes down. If there's low liquidity, $1 billion going into it, which is obviously not all going to Bitcoin, can pump that price crazy. But there's probably a lot of people, if it did pump like crazy, they'd be like, ooh, this is my last chance. But doesn't it seem real bad though? Like now we're hearing that there's a lot of people that are saying just last week they were thinking a 50 basis point hike in interest rates at the next Fed meeting, which I think is next week. It is next week. I think we get important inflation numbers tomorrow. I didn't do a lot of that work because today, or because I usually would do a lot of what's coming up this week work yesterday for today, but I've been more inundated with, I did that video yesterday, and then I talked to David today, DG today. But tonight I will look into it, and we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. And of course, we'll be keeping you posted on everything that I can find out about MyAlgo, if Michel Dada, if Pablo Yabo, if Sebastian Wayne, if any of them would like to come on the show, they're welcome. Crypto thinks there's more red. I'm not. Am I okay? I'm okay if somehow I'm wrong. Yeah, I think a lot of us are like, okay, I need to see how this shakes out. If I'm wrong and it pumps, okay, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. Dustin, I'm not, buddy. Dustin's not messing around. He's like, I'm serious about the future of Algorand. Hoping the price go down more is foolish. Well, Dustin, you have a point, buddy. Because at some point, it going down too much doesn't just become a investment problem. It becomes a security problem. So you're onto something, Dustin. Is it possible to inscribe ordinals on Algorand blockchain like BTC? Well, you don't have to. You can do just NFTs. The reason why they're they're inscribing on Sats is because it's Bitcoin. But I'm not going to pretend like I'm super knowledgeable about that. Crypto for Change is also serious about the future of Algorand. I have to say, but he's still keeping his eyes on the bigger space. Yeah, and in Crypto for Change's defense, I don't think that he is rooting against Algorand in particular. I think he is nervous about the overall climate, and what I think a lot of us should be nervous about is that all of these banks closing did crypto business, and significant crypto business. And on January 3rd of this year, the FDIC, the comptroller, the Fed, all of them made a big statement warning banks and the systemic risk of doing crypto business. Now, none of this really feels like it has anything to do with crypto in a lot of ways. I mean, it's because the working theory is, and it's not just a theory, I think it's proven, and I'm not an expert on this, but I'll just give you my kind of basic understanding of it, is a lot of these banks, their fraction of the reserves that they do have are in these bonds, these long-term bonds, and their interest rate stinks, and the interest rate has gone up really high since they purchased these bonds. So if there is a run on their bank and they need to liquidate, they're having to liquidate at a severe discount, which is an impossible thing to do. If they were able to hold these bonds to maturity, that'd be fine. But if everybody wants their money and they never even had all of that money in the first place, and what they do have is in these long-term bonds with not competitive interest rates, they're in big time trouble. Does that have anything to do with cryptocurrency? No. But guess what? They're going to make it. And that's why at some point, there's two ways of thinking about this. One way of this is like, okay, the crypto industry is in a bubble. And if you think you're so important that the Fed would crash banks in order to shut you down, you've got something else coming. And then another thought would be, well, if we have a contained explosion in just crypto banks and we can remove crypto from the banking industry seamlessly, and this puts a lot of pressure on the markets, and it puts a lot of people out of business and a lot of unemployed, all of these kind of bubbly things in tech and in crypto, and that could help with inflation. We could get we can control it, and now We'll watch everybody panic sell their USDC. We'll get a good read on, because they're all going to move it to centralized exchanges because they don't want to lose their money. We'll get a good read on all of that. And then we close all these banks and we survive. This actually helps our fight against inflation. Now, I am speaking totally out of my ass, by the way. I'm just saying stuff. But I'm just saying all of those thoughts are banging around in a lot of different people's heads. And there's smarter people to, really kind of dive in on that. But there's a lot of different ways of looking at this, is my point. Why am I still showing this block thing? Yeah, let's see. Taco coin ecosystem. There we go. I like tacos. Yeah, not needed on Algorand. Tacos? What do you mean? Brock shares Thomas Massey. So what oh, here you go. A Democratic senator essentially asked whether there was a program in place to censor information on social media that could lead to a run on banks. Yeah, buddy, that's not the move. I mean, in defense of that, we are so connected right now, and we can so easily create hysteria. I mean, obviously, what we do not want is there to be a massive run on banks and the U.S. banking sector just. I mean, maybe some people do want that, but the issue is if that all collapses, the pain for even the people rooting for that will be a lot more significant than I think they know, maybe, or they don't care. Maybe they just want to see it all burn because they know how corrupt it is. And it is not a new statement to call banks, just their basic structure, a scam. It's crazy. It's crazy how crypto gets thrown under a bus when a lot of this stuff is fully collateralized. USDC was going to lose $3.3 billion potentially. And they were going to be able to cover that because they were smart and they had short-term bonds with wonderful yield. Anyways, that's why they hopefully are surviving and everything's going to be okay. But if all of their banks just keep on falling, they're going to have to pivot. And then at what point do these people in charge really kind of create this narrative that, crypto is the issue? But okay, now I'm just talking about something I haven't really prepared much about. USDC 99.87. That's a beautiful thing. They must be redeeming on Coinbase now. Love it. Yeah, it's hard to be a realist when I have people coming to my food truck paying for tacos and burritos with Taco Coin and Algorand and other. It's fast. It works. Absolutely. Where's your taco food truck? Where is your taco food truck? We can actually use Algorand in the real world, and it's cheaper than any other method. Absolutely. Credit unions all the way, 100%. Iowa. All right. USDC is taking its peg back. Amazing. Never been to Iowa. Okay. You got. What am I going to do? Sit here and read your guys' conversation? All right, guys. There we go. We did it. Tomorrow, I'll be back at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thank you, David Garcia, for coming on the show. I appreciate it and answering all my questions. And if you guys have anything that you want to share with me, or if there's anything anything specific you'd like me to talk about, you can always, tag me on Twitter or reach out to me at the ReCoop show at gmail.com. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your Monday, and let's see what happens. I'll be back tomorrow.